Greetings and a very warm welcome to the Bangalore Toastmasters Club. I'm your Sergeant at Arms Taran Menon, and before we start our meeting, allow me to share a couple of guidelines as I narrate an incident that happened to me lately. First off, how many of you watched today's cricket match? There was no cricket match today. The fact that I did not know whether there was a cricket match today shows how ignorant I am about sports. Like, see it this way. To you, how many of you are cricket lovers? Please raise your hands. Yeah, it's the full room. And you can see, from your side, the cricket is the world. You see the thrills and the frills of the game. For me, pardon me, but all I see is a person throwing a ball and hitting it. This is how I see it when my father plays a game. There are sometimes, like last week when I was with my friends and they were watching, I think the Punjab versus Bangalore game last Saturday. My friends were like screaming and shouting, oh my God, oh wow. And they were saying, Taran, I don't know what is going on with this game. I said, yeah, even I don't know what's going on with this game. This is when I had my first insight that you cricket lovers have a pure love and attention that you're willing to give for this game. And just as how you give attention to that game, to give full attention to this game, I request all of you to please put your phones on silent or mute them. I'll give you 10 seconds. Secondly, as I was going with my friend Brian D'Souza and Shreya, where as you were approaching the club, in the midst of the conversation, he asked us, Taran, what's your favorite team in IPL? And out of the blue, I just said, CSK. Then immediately I saw Brian was right here. Brian wasn't Brian anymore. He converted, he changed, metamorphosed. He turned into a RCB fan at the end of an IPL match. He was willing to walk away, just as how an RCB fan walks away at the finals. Finally, this is where the second thing comes in. If ever you need to step out of the meeting hall for reasons other than losing RCB matches, kindly do so only when you hear applause. Finally, I almost realized that people who are part of this game have huge sentiments, have huge thing with the game, which is why I realized that you must not hurt their sentiments. The third recommendation is, please do not talk about sex, religion, politics, or RCB, and kindly do so. Kindly do, and if you're doing so, please ensure that you don't hurt the sentiments of those around you. Brian, I agree. It was partially my fault, but it was completely your fault. But just like this RCB fan who's persevered through the game, the person I'm about to introduce to you today is also an RCB fan who gained a love for cricket ever since she was small when she used to play gully cricket with her friends and her cousins. Just like every RCB fan, she lives with the philosophy of persevering irrespective of whether we win or lose. This has allowed her to become the head manager of Nokia. I went an engineer at Nokia, and she's become an area director of 3 Toastmaster clubs. It's also allowed her to become the president of this club. Please allow me to welcome the president for our club, Toastmaster Priyanka Rannorey.
Thank you so much, Tarun, for such a wonderful introduction. Fellow Toastmasters and your guests, a very good evening and a warm welcome to Bangalore Toastmasters Club. I would now like to call order meeting number 1426. Before we proceed with the meeting, let us know what happened last week. I'm sure all of us will be excited to know what were the highlights of the previous meeting. And for that, please join me in welcoming our Secretary Toastmaster Brian to share the highlights of the previous meeting.
Evening Toastmasters and guests. Okay, meeting number 1425, which happened last week on April 19, 2024. The theme of the meeting was the past is a rudder to guide you, not an anchor to drag you. The word of the day, evocative, which means bringing strong images or memories to mind. The awardees of last week are as follows. The best speaker went to Toastmaster Mansi, gave a icebreaker. Best evaluator Toastmaster Taran Menon. Best role taker Toastmaster who was the Toastmaster of the day. Best tag team player Toastmaster Shreya, who was the grammarian, and best table topic speaker Toastmaster Lokesh. There were 3 speakers attempting speaker projects, and 1 evaluation project was attempted. There were 3 table topic speakers with 28 members present and 12 guests.
Are there any amendments of the previous meeting? Minutes of meeting? I now pass the minutes of meeting of previous meeting 1425. Do we have any first-time guests who are present today here? Can you please raise your hands? Could you please raise and just introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I am Sumitra and I recently came to Bangalore like a year ago and currently I am working at Jaishree. Nice to meet all of you, looking forward to this.
Thank you, welcome.
I'm Dr. Jaishree. Hello again. I came for the sake of my daughter. I want to see what this club can help with my daughter. Thank you.
Welcome.
Hello everyone, I am Priyanka. I'm currently doing my undergraduate program in Manwani.
Welcome.
Hi everyone, my name is Jaishree. Currently I'm pursuing MBA from Rajdeep in Bangalore. So looking forward to have our impact session.
Welcome.
I am Dr. Kumar. I came here, I just got an interactive session and looking forward to this one.
Welcome to the club. Thank you, sir. Welcome. Fellow Toastmasters, together let us welcome our guests with a round of applause. I would request our committee members to please stand. Dear guests, if you have any queries regarding Toastmasters or how to become a member of this club, please do reach out to any of our executive committee members. And regarding the process, how to become a member of our club, our vice president membership, Toastmaster Chaitra, who is standing at the back. You already see them. Thank you so much. Fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, how many of you believe that you are the creators of your destiny? Please raise your hands. Interesting. And how many of you believe that destiny is something that is meant to happen? Wow, it's nice to see that. Honestly, I'm not sure if we are the creators of a destiny or not, because many times I do have this conflict and debate in my mind if we are the creators of a destiny or destiny is something that has to happen and we need to go along with it. I'm not sure about it, but one thing I'm very sure and I believe is we are the creators in defining 3 things. 1, who we want to be. 2nd, what we want to do. And 3rd, how we want to do it. And I believe that frequently by asking these questions to ourselves, who, what and how, it helps us shape the journey that we want to travel, and we would enjoy that journey if we keep frequently asking ourselves these questions. Let me share you all the story that my father shared to me today morning. How many of you have heard of Dr. Tessie Thomas? Nice. Because I heard for the first time and my father told me, I'm very happy to we have at least 2 people who have heard about this name. Dr. Tessie Thomas is known as the Missile Woman of India. I'm sure you all must be familiar with the missile man of India, who is none other than APJ Abdul Kalam. But Dr. Tessie Thomas is known as the missile woman of India. She is the first woman to lead the missile project. She joined the DRDO, Defense Research and Development Organization, as a scientist. Over the years, she made significant contribution in the missile development project. It was her leadership, her technical expertise, and her dedication that is believed to play an important role in the success of the development and testing of India's long-range ballistic missile. And I also got to know that she has been very instrumental for paving ways for many women to join this field. Otherwise, not many women would choose to be a part of this field. And something what resonated me when my father told me the story is that she chose who she wants to be, what she wants to do, and how she wants to do it. That made her a volition person known for the field in the development program of the Indian missile. Similarly, now I would like to introduce you to another woman. This woman plays multiple roles. A role of a mother, a role of a deputy director, and also a role of an area director. And what I got to know through her when I interacted was she told me that she forgot about the who, what, and how, being involved in this entire hustle bustle of life. But after joining Toastmasters, it revoked these thoughts into her and made her redefine what she wants to be, how and what she wants to do. She is a deputy director in the Indian Machine Tool Mechanism Association, a very unconventional journey chosen by this woman. She is none other than the Toastmaster of today's meeting. Please join me in welcoming Toastmaster Hannah.
A very good evening, my dear fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening. Good evening.
How many of you are lions here? Not metaphorically speaking, but the social services club, society called Lions. None, is it? Very good. You're a lion? You were, okay, great. I'm a lion, okay, I belong to, I'm a member there. And 2 weeks ago, there were the elections for the 24-25 committee. And it's very similar to our Toastmasters organization. Okay, they have a district governor, like how we have district director, it's a district governor. And there were no contest. There was only one contestant for the district director, but the third position is the second district governor, and there were two contestants for that. This is a very important position role because the third year, that person most probably 99% becomes the district governor. So there were two candidates for this role. And both candidates have served the Lions for several decades. Okay, both of them have been involved in a lot of service activities. Both are very influential. One is from the government, the other is an entrepreneur. And many sponsorship, they've done several sponsorship activities and have raised sponsorships. So they both were at an equal level. But there were two factors which differentiated them. One was, it was his last chance to contest because he has contested earlier 2 times, and this is we get only 3 chances to contest. So this was his 3rd time, and he was an elderly gentleman. He was over his 70s. Candidate number 2 was he has more chances, 2 more chances to go, and in his early 50s. So who would you think won the elections? Candidate 1, who is the elder candidate and who has only one chance, or the younger one? 1. 2. How many say 1? Actually, candidate number 1. So basically, what I understood is when we finally go and vote, we leave, mostly it is got to do with our feeling. What we feel, we want to give that person another chance. It's his last chance. And so I feel that we created that gentleman's destiny. But in the years to come, will he change our destiny is another topic altogether. In Toastmasters, our founder, Rajdeep Smedley, started this organization in 1924. And he started it with the objective of providing a collaborative learning environment for public speaking for young men. This he started in Santa Ana, California. 1924 is what he started, and 100 years down the lane, it's become 14,200 clubs. We have over 270,000 members and in 148 countries. So every meeting, every Toastmaster meeting is structured, a general Toastmaster meeting is structured into 3 segments. 1 is the prepared speeches, where our members come in, they deliver speeches based on the project and the path they have chosen in Toastmasters. The second segment is the impromptu segment, where it's called table topic session, where we members practice speaking and thinking on their feet. The third section is the evaluation section. Every role taker and speaker who comes on stage gets evaluated, and that is headed by the general evaluator. I will introduce the general evaluator later in the session. On the general evaluator's behalf, I will introduce her support team, which is called the tag team. The first is the timer. The timer role has been taken up by a senior software engineer, a senior software development manager in Cisco, who loves being with his family. Toastmaster Hitesh Kumar, request you to please explain the timer role.
Good evening, Toastmasters and fellow guests. So, as my role as a timer, it's my duty to time and record the duration of the entire meeting. Also, I would be recording the speeches. So, the time for today's speech would be 5 to 7 minutes. At the end of 5 minutes, I'll be holding the green card. At the end of 6 minutes, I'll be holding the yellow card. And at the end of 7th minute, I'll be holding the red card. Post which there'll be a grace period of 30 seconds. After which I'll be ringing the bell twice. Post that, the speaker will be taken as disqualified. And for table topics, the duration would be 2 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes. At the end of 1 minute, I'll be holding the green card. At the end of 1.5 minutes, I'll be holding the yellow card. And at the end of 2 minutes, I'll be holding the red card. And once the meeting is over, I'll be sharing my report when the general evaluator calls upon me. Thank you.
Now move on to the art counter. It is taken up by a Toastmaster who became an entrepreneur recently and has started a company on cyber security services. Request Toastmaster Mahesh to please explain your role.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Good evening. On the day of election, let's remember the power of words. That's where today I'm here representing our counter, and I'm going to make every word count. I'll be listening very carefully for the use of vocal past, and fetch words such as are, and repeated words. And I'll be submitting my reports at the end of the meeting. All the best to our speakers. Thank you.
The grammarian role is played by a very veteran Toastmaster. If you look at her, when I look at her, it reminds me of our finance minister, Sumitra. And she's very fondly known as the grammar Nazi of our club. Request Toastmaster Jaishree to please explain it.
Namaskara. Fellow Toastmasters and all our welcome guests. As a grammarian, it's my job to look for fault lines in your language structure. So I'm going to look at the good, the bad, and the ugly, and give my report when called for by a general evaluator. Today's word is volition, and its roots are in the Latin vere, and it means the act of being able to make a choice or decision. Today, it also means that you make a choice of your own free will. So it's basically the same, but then the ability to choose is much more stronger today than it was before. And so with that, it's back to you, Toastmaster.
Are we ready for the first section of the meeting, their speeches?
Yes.
The evaluator of the first speech is a sales professional, and he has experience in being elected. He says that he's been a school captain in year 10 and also a member of the student council during his MBA. So, and he mentions both elected posts. So basically, he was a topper in all his academic and his professional life. Please request Toastmaster Alok Simha to please read the guidelines of the speech.
The speaker is conducting a project with guidelines for writing a speech with purpose, where the purpose of the project will be to review basic methods for writing a speech with a very defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech in economy. The writing method is quite different.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Our first speaker works in the education sector, and he's traveled extensively. So this, I asked him a question whether he's been involved in campaigning for elections. And he said, yes, I have. And for this 24-25 elections, he's involved with the candidate. And so I asked him what was his experience, what was his learning about the candidate. And he says that he got to understand the far-sightedness of the gentleman, of the person who's standing for the elections. And he said that he's given jobs to so many people, okay, and he's over the last 10 years, he has grown. He's been an average middle-class person to where he's grown now is very phenomenal, and he reveres this gentleman. Please join me to welcome. The title of his speech is Stay Serene, Solve All. Stay Serene, Solve All. Over to Toastmaster Maheboobulla.
Oh my God! What's happening? How can they do like this? So stressing it is. Never expected they will do like this. This is how the reaction of the people when something unexpected happens. So, good evening, Toastmasters and my dear guest.
Good evening.
This is a real incident which happened last year. We run a company called the Modern Classroom, specialized with school and college teachers and students, experiential immersive tour programs all over the world, even including the India. So this was a 7-day tour of Europe, covering Italy, Switzerland, and
Switzerland, Germany, where they were arriving in Venice, covering the Venice sightseeing, then driving to Milan, seeing the Milan sightseeing, then going into Zurich, doing the mountain excursions, then going into Munich, doing the BMW, all the other activities, and flying back home. So after getting everybody the visas, the tickets, all the students and the teachers were excited, looking forward to this trip. So it was a flight supposed to be taking off at 4:30 in the morning, Bangalore, Dubai to Venice on Emirates. Emirates operates 3 flights per day, 4:30, 10:30 and 8:40 per day here to Dubai, and from there all over the world. So when it's a 4:30 flight, if you're an individual, it will be 3 hours before because it's international flight. When it's a group, you have to add 1 hour extra because something happens or it's anything missed out, so you need to cover up. So this was about 27 passengers, 25 students, teacher and the school management trustee. So they were all here at 12:30. Then the tour director collected everybody, got onto the boarding counter, collected the boarding passes, Bangalore, Dubai to Venice. And they was expected to reach Venice in the afternoon, 1:30. 4:30 flight, they finished all the immigration, security, and they're waiting at the gate at around 2:30, 3 o'clock. Finally, they got the boarding call. Please be in the queue and get onto the aircraft. Around 4 o'clock, 4:15, everybody in the aircraft. When they have not slept almost 6 to 7 hours the whole night, once you sit in the aircraft, you go to sleep. And that's what everybody did. Suddenly, they got a call. Please, deplane. Deplane. We are not taking off. And to make the matter worse, it was not small aircraft, it was Airbus 380, almost 657 passengers on that aircraft. I can imagine the number of people having connections all over the world, traveling for various purposes. Everybody jumped into panic mode, chaos, and the stress is multifolded. But the tour director was calm. And so he followed what was the instruction given by the air hostess and the people in the aircraft. So they all deplaned. They got onto the airport and collected their bag. They were waiting. What is next? Believe me, all 650 passengers at the Emirates counter, bombarding with questions, and even the Emirates office were trying to figure out how to handle what was happening. But this tour director was calm, as if nothing has happened. Let me tell you one thing. When an aircraft doesn't take off, more than the passengers, the airline is under stress. And do you know why the aircraft is manufactured? Aircrafts are manufactured, ma'am. Why the airplanes are made? To keep flying, to be airborne, not to be grounded. Like how you park a scooter or a car, you pay a parking fees, right? Similarly, every aircraft parks in any city, they have to pay parking fees. For every 1 hour goes to lakhs. And it's Airbus 380, even more. That means it was supposed to take out 4:30, it's still not taken off. That means they are worried for their parking fees also. More than you passengers, the airline is worried. They don't want to cancel your flights. They want to take off. But something happens. So always be patient is what I recommend. So everybody is bombarding. I understand they have connections, they have meetings, X, Y, Z. So finally this tour director said, ma'am, why don't you sit down? Let me organize a breakfast for you and let me figure it out how to do it. So gave the breakfast. Then he called up the Emirates office. What is happening? What is the solution? Can you put me to the next flight? That flight also full because it was 650 passengers. They cannot put on a 10:30 flight. 8:40 also full because it was October time. It was a peak time. So then he figured it out. The next solution. What is the next destination the Emirates can fly to? Milan. Because as per the itinerary, it was Milan the next day. That flight is also full. He was looking at finding the next solution. But whereas the principal, that students were stressed, what is this tour director is not doing any reaction? What is he doing? But he was calmly doing his work. Finally, he found a destination to Bologna, which was about 2 hours flight, 2 hours from Milan. So he got a. Meanwhile, the flight was not available to go to Dubai. So Emirates organized a brand new aircraft from Dubai to Bangalore to take all 650 passengers to Dubai and further connections. So when they arrived in Bologna, yes, Bologna is a very small airport. It has 2 counters of immigration and almost 400 passengers at the counter. Again, stress. What is next? How will they reach Milan? Because the guide was I hired for 4 hours. By the time they reach Milan, it will be 6 o'clock and the guide will finish his time and go back. So he spoke to the ground staff, said, why don't we extend another 2 hours of the guide so that we can reach there? So what he did, he went to the immigration officer and explained the difficulty what the students had gone for 2 hours, 2 days of no travel and too much of stress. So the immigration officer obliged them, okay, why don't you bring all the students first, finish the immigration, so cleared the immigration, got onto the bus and drove to Milan, and they did the tour of Milan, and the entire trip was completed as per the schedule. Then the principal understood. The tour director who was heading this group was calm, but he was planning his whole program quietly. The tour director was none other than myself. Thank you very much. So always remember, things will happen unexpectedly, but getting panic will not take you anywhere. Stay calm. You will be able to solve anything at any given point of time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Maheswaran. I was very glad to note that you were the hero of the whole episode. The evaluator of the second speech is a chartered accountant by profession, and his experience with elections is very interesting. I think 2-3 years ago, he stood for Vice President Public Relations, and it was after 4 rounds of voting did he finally win the elections. Toastmaster Ganesh Pai, request you to please read out the guidelines for speech 2.
The Toastmasters and guests, a very good evening. Good evening. Speaker is attempting project 1, understanding your leadership style from level 2 on past strategic relationships. The purpose of this project is for the member to identify the primary leadership style or styles. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspects of primary leadership style or discuss leadership style in general. However, please note speech at this 5 minutes. All the rest of the speaker and back to the association.
Thank you, Mr. Ganesh. The second speaker is a data scientist at Allstate Insurance. She says that she's been an introvert turned extrovert, and she loves to challenge herself. In college, she stood for the debating society elections, but lost. But she says, what I learned from that experience is the importance of preparation, maintaining good relationships, and attention to detail. She is mentored by DTM Vijayanand in Toastmasters. The title of her speech is Talk the Talk. Talk the Talk, Toastmaster Naina.
I was attending a meeting one time and I heard someone say, everybody is a leader. And I thought to myself, what does that even mean? Who in this extremely large MNC is going to listen to me? Fellow Toastmasters, President and dear guests, I have a lot of questions about leadership. So I went on to Google and I typed, what is a leader? And the answer that I got was, a leader is someone who inspires others towards a common goal. Others and common goal being the operating terms, which mean without others and a common goal, one cannot be a leader. So no, I don't think everyone is a leader. However, I do think that when one realizes that self-leadership is a thing, is when one truly becomes a leader. Self-leadership, what is that? Why do we need it? Think about it. To make any decision, something as simple as, should I join Toastmasters? You have an optimistic voice in your head saying, yes, it's going to be enriching. You will meet new people and learn new things. And at the same time, there's a pessimistic voice saying, but what if you fail? What if people laugh at you? And then you're in the middle trying to make sense of the whole situation and decide. So for you, who is accountable for this decision? And the interesting bit is, there are 5 attributes to a good leader that are applicable across the board. Namely, accountability, planning, trust, action, and agility. Now let's look at how that applies to a self-leadership role. Number 1, accountability. A good leader is accountable for all failures that their team incurs. They're also responsible for figuring out the shortcomings of the team and working towards bettering it. How many of us over here have really sat down and thought about the bad habits and shortcomings that we have? And how many of us have really introspected? The first time I realized that my phone was the biggest waste of time in my day, hours spent on it, wasted, is when I sat down and really introspected why I was wasting all that time, only to realize that I was just so overwhelmed. I had all of these goals and ambitions that I wanted to achieve, but I had no idea how. So in that confusion, I ended up doing the easy thing, wasting time. We must hold ourselves accountable or learn to hold ourselves accountable. Number 2, planning. In our jobs, whenever we get a project, we have a deadline. Based on that deadline, we decide our milestone, our timelines, how we're going to go about it to adhere to that timeline. But why don't we do that for ourselves? Why is that not a habit? Why do we put our personal goals in the back burner? And myself did that when I started working. I thought my personal gains or growth can be, second priority. My professional gains matter more. And then I was miserable, which is why I joined Toastmasters, because I realized I will continue to be miserable if I don't work on myself. Number 3, trust. Ever heard of the term micromanagement? It is a classic sign that a leader doesn't trust their team. And on the other hand, would you ever give critical work to someone who has a history of not meeting deadlines? No. Same way, all of the distrust in yourself, which by the way, I just did not trust myself for a very long time, because any responsibility that I was given, I would just forget. I was clumsy, I didn't remember things. My parents would ask me to keep the camera, this one, the nice camera for trips, and I would forget. They would ask me to label boxes while we were shifting. I would label the boxes and lose the notebook. How am I supposed to be trusted by my parents when I cannot even deliver on what I say? It took me almost 2 years of journaling, scheduling, visual reminders, alarms, to just figure out how to remember things. And number 4, actions. Whenever a leader is leading through action and example, what they're essentially trying to do is get the ball rolling, show the team how it's done, set the pace for the project. And oftentimes, in our lives, we are overwhelmed by tasks that seem big and we never get the ball rolling. So what I figured out that, let's say if I want to clean my house, it seems like a mammoth task. But if I start cleaning my table, 9 out of 10 times, I will clean my bed. Then I will clean my room. Then I will end up cleaning the whole house. and the task will be done. And last, and the final fifth attribute is agility. I recently started social media, which means I have to be in front of the camera. So in front of the camera, I have to be the diva with all of the attitude and pizzazz. Then I have to edit it with all the focus and attention to detail. Then I have to post it diligently and consistently. And after all that, I have to do my job also, where I have to problem solve. So agility in your actions helps you do a lot of things. 5 things. Accountability, hold yourself accountable. Second, plan your goals. Third, trust yourself, and if you don't work towards trusting yourself. 4, get the ball rolling, and then it will snowball into completion. And 5th, be agile. You'll be able to do a lot of things. Folks, I am in my career right now. I am not in a position where I lead people. But I know someday I will be. Until that day comes, I'm going to work on myself, build good habits, and work ethic. So that when that time comes, I'm the best leader that I can be. I want to focus on not just talking the talk, but also walking the walk.
That was such a brilliant speech, Toastmaster Naina Alex. Thank you so much for explaining the 5 traits of leadership and very well explained. Third speaker, the third speech, the evaluator of the third speech is a star in Toastmasters. He's a brilliant speaker, evaluator, and a table topics master. He has won several awards in the club. Every time he's here, he's won an award. At the area level, division level, he has won several awards. And the most thing I like about him is whenever he comes on stage, he inspires and he motivates us to take home something new. Please request DTM Dr. Rajdeep to please read out the guidelines. Toastmaster Ganesh Pai.
Purpose of this project is for the member to clearly define how Toastmasters do resume mentoring, and also to share some aspects of previous experience as a project. All the rest of the speaker, timer, please note the timing is 5%.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Ganesh. The third speaker is a principal engineer in the semiconductor industry. He considers himself as unconventional, irrational, and unpredictable person. The vastness and randomness of nature fascinates him, and he loves to know more about the forces of creation. His speech title is "Who is my mentor?" Who is my mentor? Toastmaster Robert Eaton.
Every Toastmasters Club I go, there is one question that's consistently asked about me: who is my mentor? And finally, today I got a chance to answer that. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear Toastmasters and guests, a very good evening.
Good evening.
Toastmasters International has set very high standards for the role of mentoring, clearly distinguishing mentoring from coaching. Coaching is about helping a member to improve a specific skill set. In our context of Toastmasters, it could be helping to improve the body language or voice modulation and things like that. Whereas mentoring is about a complete 360-degree or a holistic development of a person. That kind of reminds me of my good old school days, wherein I was fortunate to learn from some of the best-in-class teachers in the world. Teachers who could casually walk into the class without carrying any notes and books and still deliver those high-quality lectures. Be it teaching the fundamentals of the subject or application of the subject, they were just awesome.
They were very, very dedicated to their profession. Every question that I asked and my co-students asked, that was their motivation to teach more. By the level of the question that we asked, the tone and tenor which we asked, they were able to come up with analogy and help us to understand better and better. They were very accommodative. Every question was accommodated and very well answered. The most beautiful thing is that intentions were very pure. No political ambitions, no personal ambitions. It was always an unconditional transfer of knowledge and wisdom. Recall when I took my first job after engineering, just like any other recent college graduate in India, was struggling to bridge the industry versus academia gap. There was one gentleman, Mr. X, in my organization. Everybody had dumped him, isolated him in the name of introvert, high attitude, touch me not, and whatnot. But somehow I found that person to be very different. To me, he appeared as a very honest person, a very talented person, and a very hardworking person. And I chose him to be my mentor. And the magic happened. He transferred enormous amount of working knowledge to me without any expectations. There was a lot of hand-holding. And within 6 months, I went on to make my first major deliverable in the organization. Something which is unheard of for any recent college graduate. They take more than a year. This unconditional giving by him to me was soon blessed from above. People who had noticed me spending time with him reached out to him. They also started making him their mentor. Very soon, from a touch me not, he became a star in the organization. Essentially, our mentor-protege relationship redefined the very belief, the very culture of the organization. My dear Toastmasters and guests, what I'm trying to tell here is, just like how a skilled jeweler can identify gold, diamond, and other valuable jewels from a pile of scrap, a good protege should be able to see through this madding crowd and identify those valuable mentors. You create your destiny. You choose your mentor by your own, what's that? Volition. Thank you. No, maybe because nature offered me such very good mentors in the past, I have also ended up mentoring many, many people, college students, recent college graduates, and my peers, my own seniors too. However, before taking up any mentoring role, I ask a few questions to myself. Am I worthy of mentoring this person? What is my motivation to mentor this person? Is the person in a position to value the knowledge and wisdom that's going to be offered? Only if I get an affirmative yes to all these questions, I take up the mentoring role. All that is fine. Coming back to the first question, who is my mentor now? If all these great unconditional mentors in the past reach out to me today and offer to be my mentor, will I accept? Probably no. I'm going to tell them, thank you. You've already done your job. Now it's my game. I'm a new person. My awareness levels are different. My needs, my expectations are different. I have my own unique ways to learn things. So what are those unique ways to learn things? You might be someone who likes to learn from the gurus and scholars. You might be someone who likes to learn from those seasoned, experienced people, people who have had hard experiences in life. You might be someone who likes to learn by applying your own sense of logic and reasoning. What most of you probably do not know is there are rare moments in space and time when these three dissimilar sources of knowledge aligns and gets into harmony. This phenomena, the mathematicians and physics describe as triangulation of three dissimilar sources of energy. Whenever this phenomena occurs, my self resonates with nature. It is through this divine triangle that I see the world. It is this divine triangle that resides within me is my mentor, and I am his protege. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Robert. Truly, the speech was unconventional, unpredictable, and international. Thank you. We now break in for a 5-minute bio break. In 5 minutes, we definitely join back for the next session, the second session, which is table talk session. So the second session of meeting 1426 is the table topic session. And we have a table topic master. The table topic master is a sales professional, and he has been in our committee doing several roles. And during a conversation several years ago, he mentioned that he avoids being judgmental, and he says he takes things just as they are. So my question to him was about elections and campaigning. So he said his reply was, he has very interesting reply. He said he's campaigning for me. So I said, okay, pretty good. So I didn't want to judge. I thought, okay, let it be that he has campaigned for me in the past. Please join me to welcome the table topics master, Toastmaster Karunakar.
Thank you, Naina, for the introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, I have two roles today. I'm a table topic master and also a representative of the Election Commission of India. The biggest celebration of democracy is underway, and there have been wild, bizarre, unimaginable promises made by the contestants here in their election manifesto. I'm going to invite those to justify why such wild, bizarre claims are made or the promises are made to the voters, the innocent voters of the country. The first promise is you have promised 10 liters of whiskey per month to every household. It is done by Ganesh. Okay, hands up for Ganesh. 10 liters of whiskey per month to every household. Why?
Good evening, Toastmasters and takers. Sure, this is the need of the heart. Anything and everything. This is the way I can earn money to my government. This is the only route which I can promise will take away all your pain. 10 liters of whiskey is nothing. Start it off today with 10 liters. Tomorrow it will come in your tap for 10 to 100 liters. So, how many of you would still think 10 liters is fine with me? Fine with you guys? Less 10 liters convincing. Not convincing. Come on, man. Okay. How about if I convert that into juice? 10 liters of juice.
That's fine.
So this is where the problem is. When I offer something which is very costly, you guys are saying no. So this is what is the type of people we have become. Choose wisely. You don't need to drink. Who is telling you to drink? You could sell and make money out of it. So there is something that always you can make it out. Yeah? So but I have given you a wise choice. Make one, and that's me. Vote for me.
Thanks. If you lose us, we'll blame it on EVM. The next one. You have promised to set up a colony on Moon by 2025. You have promised to set up a colony on Moon by 2025 if elected. Toastmaster Vijay Anand.
This gentleman recently married. He went to his in-laws' place, and he was feeling like a king. Timber Master, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As soon as the gentleman reached his in-law's house, right in the middle of the house he was seated. Father-in-law comes, mother-in-law comes, tastiest of snacks. It's amazing, right? It's beautiful. You know, the father was saying, our daughter is so lucky to get you. Now, what do you feel? Won't you feel like over the moon? That's how this young man was. It just got better. As the evening was progressing, the in-laws kept praising this young man. So fortunate we have your son-in-law. Just then, one of the in-laws' jewelers walked into their house. And the young man's father-in-law ordered a very expensive set, 5 lakhs. And the young man said, wow, he told his wife, your father is so sweet. Even after 30 years of marriage, he's gifting your mother 5 lakh rupees. 30 years of marriage. He said, my father is very sweet. Then, the wife replied, I also asked the jeweler for one more. Then the young man thought, man, my father-in-law not only getting jewels for his wife, also for me, for my wife. Yes. And life is so beautiful, right, Maheswaran? Newlywed, that's how we think. Just then the wife came and said, the jeweler has given the bill. So the young man thought, obviously, his father-in-law took the bill. No, wife says, you have to put the bill. So why I'm saying call me on moon is because there's no gravity on moon. When a jeweler comes and gives such bill, you will just start floating and you can escape all these miseries. That is God.
Thank you. And for all the next speakers, please know the timing is limited to 1.5 minutes maximum. The next is also a very tall promise. The manifesto promises establishing a pajama Friday dress code for all the workspace. Pajama Friday dress code for all the workspace goes to Paneer. Why did he make that promise? Put a hand up for Paneer, please.
What you will all wear pajamas, come in lungis. In this heat, there is nothing more comfortable for things between your legs and beyond except lungis. You feel a little sweat trickling down your thighs, just roll up the lungi and sit around, say, like a little veerappan in your own cubicle. But this is so important. Forget taking care of water, taking care of the climate crisis happening in the world. We will show up in lungi and we will show them that Indians knew how to manage air and heat thousands of years ago. So this is the lungi party, and we'll have every Friday a lungi dress code. Let your kids learn how to tie and drape a lungi. These days I see young kids, they go to ethnic days with a jeans pant, on that they wear a mundu, and that too Velcro mundu, and then put a belt on top of it. We have lost our cultural goddamn heritage. It's about time we went back to the lungi days and wear lungi throughout the day. Experience the comfort, cooling, and culture of our ancestors. Wear lungi every Friday, vote for lungi party.
Okay, next one is a very innovative promise made by a Toastmaster coming up in a while. The topic is the manifesto promises building a network of water slide for commuters and cancelling roadways. Building a network of water slides and cancelling roadways for commuters. Rashi. The hands are all please.
So water slides instead of roadways is obviously a very good choice because it's just the way people say that you should get rid of fear. So maybe the society or people, whoever has the fear of water should get rid of it by commuting through water slides to their workspaces or wherever they go. And plus it would be a fun thing. I mean, it's so boring to just wake up every morning, travel in a car, get stuck in Bangalore traffic. Rather just go through a water slide. Might as well experience some fun, some thrill every day. and not sure if I can imagine such a place. But yes, it would be very chaotic, very weird, and yeah, for a while it might be nice. I don't know, I have nothing else to say, but given the water crisis of Bangalore right now, I think we should put this for a pause and maybe come back to it later.
Your manifesto promises free ice cream on hot summer days to all citizens. Free ice cream, countrywide population, on hot summer days to all the citizens. Kamlesh, how can you make it possible?
My dear beloved voters, there is a need for our country. The country is scorching, is going through the scorching heat, and this is the time that we can rally ourselves with the ice cream, isn't it? Right? So there is a two reason for it. There is two reason. One is a economic reason to have the ice cream on the free side of it. Other is entertainment. So what is the benefit of having a free ice cream to everyone? The way that it will boost our economy. It will a lot of employment will be generated all across, and same time the people will start coming to India, and they will also enjoy as a tourism that free ice cream is flooded all across. So that is the one part of it. What is the entertainment? You go for Inox and you spend a lot of money, but you don't enjoy that much that as you are getting free, right? So I think this is time that you will get this is the first time experience in entire world that your candidate is offering this kind of a lucrative ideas. Why don't you vote for us? Isn't it? Yes. Vote for us.
Thanks, Kamlesh. Next up is a very brave point in the manifesto. Your manifesto claims to make marijuana smoking legal. Gangadhar. Manifesto claims marijuana smoking making legal.
Good evening to all Toastmasters, guests, and each and every one who's sitting here stoned. I personally think it is very important to, rather than making promises of manifestos, easy, just give that one up to everybody. Now, another of my candidates said he's going to give ice cream. What is ice cream going to do? Nothing much. Keep you cool, fine. But if you give marijuana, you don't know what's happening. I can make any kind of promises, and I'm certain I'll get the votes. If I get giving 10 liters of whiskey, no, it doesn't matter. Marijuana is a thing. And I believe, I was told, that marijuana has got medical properties. So you can obviously convert it towards that. That's it for your benefit. I'm going to give you this. And how are we going to go ahead with the entire process of supplying to the entire country is something that I will leave it to Toastmaster Karunakar to handle. Over to you.
Okay, moving on. This manifesto claims that he would establish a Ministry of Time Travel. I really want to know what and how. Toastmaster Prakash. With your hands up, please, everybody.
Good evening, dear Toastmasters and guests. Today you are my voters, and my promise is that I will bring a Ministry of Time Travel. And that is the second promise. The first promise is that whatever I say, I will do. I will not be somebody X or Y or Z who just say that something and doesn't help you at all. So my first promise, I will do what I say. So why time travel? Anybody wants to go from one place to other, this Bangalore traffic, you want to go to US, you want to go to underwater, you want to go to space, wherever you want to go, you can do whatever you want, and this ministry will take care of your expenses and the logistics. So definitely vote for me, and as I told, I am a person who keeps on his promise. I have made a promise to bring a ministry of time travel, and I will make sure it happens. Vote for me.
Now this one would be tough to make it happen, but let's see how it does it. The electoral promises replacing Gandhiji's photo or notes with Rajdeep friendly. On current Toastmaster Srinivas claims he will make it happen. Can we have it?
Good evening, Toastmasters and my dear guests. So it's a Toastmasters. As a Toastmasters, we are there in Toastmasters country. The election is happening for the Toastmasters Club. Yeah, it's for Toastmasters Nation, right? For the Toastmasters Nations, why do you require Gandhiji? As a founder, Francis Midley is our founder who's founded Toastmasters in 1924. These are 100 here. That is a century here. Why don't we celebrate that with a joy? That instead of Gandhiji currencies, why don't we make our currencies in Francis Midley's photograph on it? And then give it to our secretary treasurer who is unable to come today for our renewals for the next term, so that we will get double benefit out of it. And also, it is not one thing. It is obviously we'll see whenever we see Francis Midley, we think about Toastmasters, and we get to know a lot of things on it. And then we will be installing QR currencies to it. So whenever somebody wants to learn new things, every day there will be new things, vocabularies. As we have theme, everything's going to come up on it. So that instantly we'll get all the updates from all over the Toastmasters all over the globe. Over to you.
Okay, this is also a brave law that the Toastmaster is promising to bring. The manifesto claims compulsory nose piercing law to be made for men in your manifesto. Compulsory nose piercing law to be made for men in the manifesto. Toastmaster Mansi, why?
Good evening, Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
Just looking at the number of people here in this room, and just taking a quick count, I feel that there are about 40% women and 60% men, and all 40% of us are just tired of this patriarchal society who feel that everything was decided by men and women had to just follow, right? So even humankind is like mankind, and the rules, when we refer to people, we just say, so you get my point. So let's change, it's time to change that, and let's start with the very simple, very tiny little, like insignificant hole, right? It would do nothing to you all. So let's just go for it. Let's just get all the men to pierce their noses, so they will understand what we women actually go through. And it could be just a very beginning, small but a little beginning, and you will then probably understand all the other things, all the other inconveniences, all the other traumas, everything that we go through because of you men. So let's start with this little, very tiny, insignificant piercing in your body, which is a nose piercing. Thank you.
Well, okay. Your manifesto promises to replace traffic lights with trained monkeys. Your manifesto promises to replace traffic lights with trained monkeys. Akash, how am I? Loud cheer for it, everybody.
My dear Toastmasters, I'll be honest with you. I'm just a puppet behind the election. I could get nominated because my father wants to do all his reforms with me as a figurehead. So, what my father tells me to do, I'm just doing. So, all your questions should ask my father, not me, because I'm the wrong person you're speaking to. But I can assure you that our government, they can't even build a metro line. So, do you think legalizing marijuana or getting ice cream federal is possible? No. But getting monkeys in front instead of traffic signals is definitely possible. I just get a monkey from Mysore or Bangalore, Bangalore or somewhere and fill them instead of the traffic signals. So please vote for me because whatever the other candidates have promised is not possible. Because they can't even build a metro line, they can't keep the streets clean. That is like the sky is the limit for that. So please vote for me because at least this is achievable rather than what others have been promising. Thank you.
Now, this is a claim of an emotional fan. The manifesto promises mental health policy and funds for RCB fans. Those should stay up. Why do you think so?
Okay, so apparently everyone is RCB fan, right? Yeah. Unfortunately, I am not. So don't attack them with this. But still, I'll support you because I want votes. To support you. So mental health. So mostly because I'm standing for all the teenagers, all the annoying teenagers who vote, who yell RCB everywhere they go, and then all the people out there, all the small kids like me, only looking okay, and didn't understand cricket. And I think we would. I don't know. It's hard to be RCB fan or where to go with this, but still, let's see. What is the topic?
Mental health policy and funds for the RCB fans.
Funds. For funds, you can go talk to Toastmaster Ganesh. He talked about cutting whiskey, alcohol, because that's the only thing that can cure RCB's emotions. So that's that.
Okay. Your manifesto is to provide one cow per family. The question we will keep it in how we will make that happen. Toastmaster Vijay Kalkundri. Manifesto to provide one cow per family. Okay, hands up for everybody.
So, my dear voters, it's time to cast your position. So, what is the need of the hour? So you require something which is useful from all the angles, right? So you miss. So we all get up. We want to get up early in the morning. And how do we do? What do we do? We keep alarms, and we will replace it with cow. And then, after we have done our day-to-day activities, then what we require? We require something to get started. And we require milk. And for that, what we require? And then after that, we want to beat the traffic. What do we require? We want to go and beat the so we can use cow to go from your home to your working place. And then there is a problem of parking your vehicle. Then what do you require? So my dear friends, so there are multiple applicability. If you want to keep yourself away from all the diseases you require, so here you go. So my dear voters, so the king provides and vote for wise. Otherwise, your future will pay the price.
Okay, on a serious topic. Now, this Toastmaster has a claim in the manifesto, or rather request. She wants the new education policy to include humor as a specialization. New education policy to include humor as a specialization. Toastmaster Nisha. Wow. Manifesto to include humor as a specialization.
Good evening, Toastmasters.
Good evening.
Dear guests. So, election time, and everybody is, of course, seriously voting. Some are not voting. Some are going to polls. Some are in dilemma. What do we do? And people are giving false promises. But yes, I and my party promise you that you will be always happy, healthy, because we will make you laugh. We will always show you some funny movies or funny episodes which will really make you laugh. ये हमारी गारंटी है कि आप बहुत लंबे समय तक जिएंगे क्योंकि आप हमेशा हंसते रहेंगे. Thank you.
Okay, we have the last one, and he's a seasoned parliamentarian that we have. His manifesto promises speech evaluation at Parliament after every speech as per PMI guidelines. Manifesto promises speech evaluation at Parliament after every speech as per Toastmaster International. Shashank, do we have you? Yes, we have it.
Speech evaluations as per TMI guidelines in Parliament. You think it's possible? Yes. Yeah, if you think so. Growing up, I was always fan of politics. I'm not talking about politics. I was always fan of politics. But one thing I learned, with great power comes great responsibility. But when we look at the assembly and parliament in India, they speak less, they act more. And when any bill is introduced, if the other party is not in favor of it, they will not let the person presenting it speak. I've seen chairs go up, I've seen people tear up the papers and just throw it in the air. I've seen people block the speaker's view or others' view with big placards. It's a mess. But when I introduce this new concept of speech evaluations, as per TMI guidelines, whatever the speaker speaks, do you think it works? Yes, it does. Why? Why? Because in Toastmasters, what do we believe in? We believe in giving constructive feedback. But the moment we tell the other person or the speaker, nowadays what do we see? All of it is lying, all of it is not visible. We keep shouting on others. But the moment we tell them that your speech was good, they are flattered already. But how can we make it better? With two more suggestions. Forget the politics, forget the agenda. They will definitely be on your side, and that is how we will captivate their attention. So as per TMI guidelines, let us bring the evaluations. Let us make friends in parliaments too. Go to the question.
Okay, popular demand, we have one more contestant who wants to present his view on his manifesto. His claim is that he wants to have routine hatred for men and women. Will feedback is a manifesto claim, and we Sampath Kumar. So we know why. Could you hand the other people?
Good evening, Toastmasters and my dear guests. So, free haircut, right? Yeah, military haircut. Menon, free. Okay. So still they have to pay.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to bring the uniformity in the country. So to start with, everyone, I just would like to say that there will not be any partiality between men and women. So I will, you know, I will, I will ensure that both men and women are equal. To ensure that, I just would uh, order that they have to get that same military haircut. Military haircut. It's completely.
Thank you. I hope all the promises get fulfilled. We'll have the voting just a while over to the Toastmasters.
I will have the first show.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Karunakar, for that very entertaining and unconventional session. Please join me to. We now come to the third and final section of this evening's meeting, which is the evaluation section, where the general evaluator will evaluate. To introduce to you our general evaluator, she's a multifaceted personality and has many firsts to her credit. She is the first lady DTM of Bangalore and the first lady president of our club. She worked in the public relations department of Bharat Electronics, and after post-retirement, she's been a corporate trainer. Recently, she has authored a book called Promotion Hacks, which is on soft skills to accelerate your career growth. Please join me to welcome DTM Sumitra Manmohan.
How many of you will agree that insightful feedback can help you create your destiny? Welcome, your Toastmasters guests, to the evaluation session of Toastmasters. When I first saw the theme, I was wondering how to connect evaluation with the theme. And that's what I got the idea. And why I'm saying this is, we had a member who didn't seem to mingle with people. And even the members were slightly hesitant to interact with him. And in that particular meeting, I was the GE and he was the standing president. He had such an impactful message. But the way he held himself, he came across as a snooty person with a superior air. And that's when I realized why people were hesitating to interact with him. So I pointed it out. And fortunately for me, he took it in good spirit. And that's why I say that. And thereafter we had a break. And to my surprise, I found this person interacting with everyone and all the other members coming forward and talking to him. So definitely, I can't say that it can create your destiny, but it can definitely make some change in your life. Because I'm sure this person would have been much, much happier after that. And why it happened? Because he had an open mind. So my fellow Toastmasters and guests, are you willing to be open-minded today?
and take the feedback for my team and me. And remember, this is one of the secrets of Virat Kohli for his success, being open-minded to feedback. Right? So the timer informed that we started on time, so that's great. BTMC has kept up its tradition. We started off on time. And we had a very energetic Sergeant at Arms come on stage. Before that, I saw him getting the ball ready, very enthusiastic. At the same time, he was meeting guests. That was a great thing, Taran. And you have a wonderful way of bringing in creativity everywhere. I remember even the book review was something different from all our reviews. And even here on stage, you brought in a lot of creativity and something that was a very hot topic with everyone about cricket. That was a wonderful way of bringing it. And I thought you were overstepping your time, but the Sergeant at Arms told me you were well within time. So I was thinking maybe it's a little too long, but you did it well. For a job well done and for keeping up this energy in the club, let's give Taran a good round of applause. Now, if you want some feedback, in case, there's nothing much that I can say in that round. But suppose you're thinking of a corporate job, then I think the drama will have to be a little toned down. That's the only suggestion I have. But to build up, to set the momentum of the club, it's fine. Yeah? And then we had our president come, as usual, public with energy, she come. And what I like about our president's messages is, they are from our personal life. And therefore, all the stories come from her heart. And especially today's, with something very appropriate, I would say. You said, I don't understand whether we can create a destiny, but you spelled it out, how we can, what we want to do, who we are, what we want to do, and how to do it. The moment you get these three answers, you're creating your destiny. So it was very well, and I like the way you very smoothly connected it to the introduction of the theology. Very well done. Now, if you want, let's give her a good round of applause. I want me to give you some critical feedback. I would say you have this repetitive gesture, which has been there for a very long time, and that makes you come across a little robotic. I would suggest you try to think of more variety and have a little more smoother gestures, and you have this tick-tock way of coming up the stage also, and your hair bouncing, your ponytail bouncing. So try and think of something that will make you come a little more gracefully on the stage. Yeah, because that's something I think, as a president, you can work on, bringing a little grace. Yeah, but otherwise, well done. And next, coming to our secretary, well done, secretary. Religiously comes for every Sunday, and you're giving us little stories as well. Yeah, which makes it a little interesting and out of the way. My only suggestion is maybe if you can make the stories a little crisper. And what I find nowadays is people are a little impatient to go through long stories. Try and keep it a little crisp. It is a welcome change, creativity. You can carry on with it. So let's give Ryan also a good round of applause. And then we had Artio Modi with her ever smiling. And one thing, she tried to bring in the topic of the day, the elections, and try to get all those introductions woven in, well done. But excepting for the beginning part, where you connected it about the destiny and the theme of the day, The others I felt, other introductions were no connection. And then because some of us didn't give that thing connected to election, the ending will suddenly change. And there was one place where I felt, the transition was a little, when you came to the Toastmaster part of it. The transition was a little abrupt, not this. And similarly, when you were giving the introduction of Ganesh Pai, there also I felt you got stuck and suddenly you went to this. So maybe a little on that part. But otherwise, the introductions were well done and you very well, sort of introduced the speakers and handed it, that was done well. So let's give the ceremony of the drum. And now coming to the prepared speech part. Our first speaker was Maheswaran, and he was evaluated by a person who's known for his insightful evaluation, and I'm sure today he was going to be very insightful, though sometimes he's a little reserved also. But let's hope, Maheswaran, you get a nice, insightful and very open evaluation. It's over to Alok.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Well, the guidelines of speech called for a speech with a specific purpose. That was the objective of the speech. Let's see how we went about it. I'll divide my evaluation into two sections, as always, content and delivery. Let's focus on the delivery aspect first. I felt you were articulate from the get-go. Okay, there is I felt you were articulate from the get-go, and there was a lot of confidence as you came on stage, and that aspect was the highlight of the speech, the energy, the confidence, how articulate you were. So these were things that stood out for me. There were excellent attempts at making eye contact, the vocal variety, the gestures, they were all on track, and there was also an attempt at making use of the stage well, which I felt was done okay, and that could be an area of improvement for you. How can you use the stage better? Now, moving to the content aspect of it, I felt it was a great start the way you asked questions and talked about stress and being calm. That aspect was great. It helped us tune into the speech and started developing in us a sense of curiosity on what was to come next. It was a personal story rather than a personal incident. Now that again has its hook because you're not talking about something generic, you're talking about something really specific, and you're talking about your own story. So that again gives a lot of relatability to the entire speech. Now, coming to the nitty-gritties, I felt there was an attempt at sarcasm as well when you asked what is the purpose of an airplane. So that was a good break in the entire speech where you asked a direct question, engage the audience. It was humor but with laced with a little bit of well-meaning sarcasm. That for me stood out. If I were to, during the break I was actually talking to people, just trying to gauge how the speech was. I received two, I would say, contrasting bits of feedback. The first bit of feedback was that the speech was engaging. And what made engaging was the style of delivery and the way, the energy that you brought to the stage. So that made and the personal story, of course. So that was the engaging part of the speech. Now there was another set of feedback that I got saying, now if the purpose of the speech or the objective of the speech was to have a speech which had a clearly defined purpose, both generic and specific, how would this entire story fit in? Now, if you ask me, I would resonate with a little more with the second part of the feedback, where I was trying to figure out what is the purpose of the speech. There is a story, you start off well, there was a lot of attention to detail in the speech, but what was the purpose? After reflecting on it, I felt maybe your purpose was to tell us how it is important to be calm under stress and how you manage to do it. So that was the generic purpose that I was able to conclude, but did it stand out obviously? Maybe that's an area of improvement where you could make it more obvious. So all in all, I felt it was a great speech with great focus on delivery, great prepared speech with a great focus on delivery where you could say, but maybe a little more refining of the content to suit to the guidelines of the speech would have made it better. Congratulations and wish you good luck to the upcoming speakers. Thank you.
Thank you, Alok, for that very insightful feedback. I do agree with Alok that the purpose didn't come out very clearly. And one small suggestion I felt when you said you need to be calm and patient. Maybe you could have brought down the voice modulation and showed it in a very calm. Because that time too you were full of energy. So maybe to match that, you could have brought it at the end. And maybe that would have stuck in our minds much better, that we need to be calm. Yeah, our second speaker was Naina Alex, and she was evaluated by someone who gives very great critical analysis of speeches. So let us see how critically analytical feedback is from Ganesh Pai, our second evaluator.
Dear Toastmasters, guests, and Toastmaster Naina, a very good evening to you all. A leader who smiles when things go wrong. A leader who smiles when things go wrong has thought of someone to blame it on. But friends, Toastmaster Naina is not such a leader in the beginning. And today, in line with her speech guidelines, she took us to a fascinating self-exploration of her own leadership journey. I really love her speech. It had all the elements of a good speech. And let me tell you why. First and foremost, she gave us a nice playbook with 5 qualities one needs to have if they want to grow in their leadership journey. Accountability, planning, trust, action, agility. And all these 5 qualities, she double-clicked and explained us with examples as to why each of these. Number 2, she was authentic to the core. All her examples were born out of her personal life. And if I may say, she proudly wore her shortcomings on her sleeve. She had no inhibitions in telling her the difficulty she has in planning, the tough time she gives to her parents whenever they have to travel, or her own unlimited screen time. All these personal examples made her story extremely important. Third, the delivery. And here she did a top-notch job, be it eye contact or a purposeful movement across the stage, the non-verbal expressions or gestures, all were masterfully done. So it was a good speech, or rather a very good speech. But they say, good is enemy of great. Now how can we walk the walk from good to great? 3 things. Remember this phrase, what great looks like. Now what do I mean by that? Now all your examples were born of your personal life, but could you look at somebody outside and see what are some of their leadership qualities and you could have included it in the speech? For agility, let's say you work in a software company. Could you have taken an example of a manager who's on top of his game, agile, future ready, future proof, and included that? Maybe that's something you could think of. Second, it is important to lace a speech with practicality as well. Life is not binary. Not that micromanaging is wrong all the time. Few colleagues need to be micromanaged, especially if they're spending incredible amount of time on screen. So it's important that you also bring in a little bit of a shrewdness quotient a leader needs to have. Third, they say everything that comes in 3 is perfect. So if you have an idea, example, it's best that you limit it to 3, because anything beyond 3, the human comprehension, the ability to remember and absorb drastically reduces. So all in all, a very good speech. Give us a nice playbook, you are authentic, genuine, super delivery. And now how do we make it great? Remember what great looks like. Lace it with practicality and limit it to 3 points. So if you take care of this, we are sanguine. You will not only talk the talk, you will walk the walk, and more importantly, you will walk the talk. All the best to your next speeches. Back to the interviewer.
third speaker was Robert, Toastmaster Robert, and he is going to be he was evaluated by a star of our club. I call it the Govind of our club. And he not only gives insightful, but he also gives critically analytical, and his USP is humor. So whatever feedback you get, you're going to smile through it and accept it. So let us invite distinguished Toastmaster Rajdeep for his feedback on Toastmaster Robert's speech.
Thank you, Sumitra, for calling me a diamond. I feel like a stone now. Right? Fellow Toastmasters, General Evaluator, and Robert Inslee in particular. Today you took us through a fascinating journey of who is your mentor. And let me see how you did in this particular speech by using the term mentor, M-E-N-T-O-R. M and E, the modulation and the energy in your voice. It was so clear, you were filled with energy, every word of yours was well articulated, you had voice modulation, you had the energy and enthusiasm, and that rang throughout your speech. So I loved the modulation, I loved the energy. Let's see the N and the T. The N was the novel idea. Without mentioning any mentor, you said that there is a triangle in your life which mentors you. That is your experiences, your scholars, and your statistical reasoning. And that's a very novel idea which I haven't heard before. So there was novelty in your speech, like very, very different. And then true stories, the T. You had true stories of a teacher whom you talked about, who gave you a very, very good analysis of what you had to say to them. You had a true story of the man whom you called Mr. X and Touch Me Not, and how he turned your life around and you got a deliverable in 6 months. So all these four were very, very positive. Your modulation, your energy, your novelty, your very true stories. But what could you do better, Robert? The O and the R. The O was the open-endedness of your speech. Everything was open-ended. In the sense, Robert, you didn't mention who were the teachers. Always remember, specific is terrific. Could have mentioned Mrs. Das. You don't have to mention the real name. She wore spectacles and she taught us physics, and I understood physics concepts from her so well. You could have mentioned, why do you have to call that fellow Mr. X or Mr. Y if he helped you so much, or Mr. Touch Me Not? You could have said Mr. Ghosh, who was always willing, he wore a spec and he sat at the side. Give flesh to your characters, don't leave them open-ended. And even your entire mentor, who's your mentor? A triangle. Tomorrow I'll say my mentor is a rectangle, mad angle. It doesn't make any sense. So give some specificity to your speech. It was very open-ended. And the last, the R, was restructure your speech. You started off with what is mentoring, you went to mentoring and coaching, then you said, what would I do if I was a mentor? Then you went into the speech, and then finally you went into the triangle. Couldn't you give it a proper direction, a structure? Might be if I was you, I would have told, mentoring is this is the difference between mentoring and coaching. I have 2 mentors in my life, and I have no mentor, but I learn from experiences. Give it a proper structure. And that structure, restructuring, would have given your speech a different level. So to end and summarize, let me tell you in 3 lines. Today, Robert Kingsley, you gave us a novel idea of mentoring through a triangle. Just a little bit of less open-endedness and restructuring wouldn't have made your speech into a triangle. However, by the way in which you spoke, your energy gave us a different angle. Thank you so much.
That's how PTM Rajdeep uses evaluation, and what is unique about them, he also gives you a little poem also at the end. Thank you, and let's applaud all the 3 mentors and all the 3 speakers. We then had the table topics. Not only where's Karunakar? Karunakar, not only were your the topics topical, connected with elections. It was a great source of creativity, and you have put in a lot of effort of thinking out these topics as well. Perhaps I don't think any other table topic master would have put in so much of effort. So you took us, to a totally different land of imagination, violent imagination, I would say. And that was the most entertaining part of today. Don't you all agree, Toastmasters? Yes. It was entertaining, a free flow of creativity, and I think that we Toastmasters do need a large dose, not whiskey, but a large dose of creativity as well. Thanks, Karunakar, for that really, really entertaining, creative, and well thought of topics. Let's give him a good round of applause as well. And now, coming to my tag team, let us call upon the software development person who, thanks to his role today, is developing you all into a professionals, helping you all keep within your time frame. So it's over to Hitesh, our time of the day.
Good evening, Toastmasters and dear guests. So, most of the speeches today were well within the time limit, except for two speeches. One was from Toastmaster Mahaboobulla and and Toastmaster Naina. They were slightly overshooted at the time, but that was still okay. And two table topic speakers overshooted their time limit. So the time limit was reduced today to 1.5 minutes. So it was Toastmaster Shashank and Toastmaster Jay.
For the R counter, we have a cybersecurity entrepreneur. So let us see how he has saved you all from the threats of non-words. So it's over to Maheswaran.
Good evening once again. So this election festival didn't even leave our Bangalore Toastmasters Club also. It gave a lot of noise in this meeting. As the election dust settles, let's review our global battles and see how our candidates fared in their battle against filler words. The filler word R is leading with 35 votes, and the filler word repeated words is in second with 8 votes. And any case, what about the balanced Dutch words? They lost their deposits. Now let's congratulate our speakers and wait for the results. Back to you.
Thank you for this report. And now to our grammarian, who doesn't rock you with a baton, but her baton is a sweet, mellifluous voice, and she'll help you realize all the pitfalls that you have fallen into. So let's invite Toastmaster Jaishree to give us a grammarian.
Namaskara once again. Be open-minded to feedback, said the evaluator. So Toastmasters are all open-minded to whatever I have to say.
Yes.
Now, should it be good news first or bad, or rather good news first or bad? Good news. Good news?
Yes.
Okay. Let me begin with that. I like the first one, talk the talk, because it drew your attention, and or rather it draws your attention to the it being unusual. Because usually we say walk the talk, rather than talk the talk. So I think that was a good title for a speech. Snowball into completion, said someone. Unconditional giving. From a touch me not to a star. Truly, the speech
Truly, the speech was unconventional, unpredictable, and irrational. Yeah, that's yoking disparate ideas together, and I thought that was really very interesting. Snooty person with a superior air, said someone. A leader who smiles when things go wrong always has someone to blame it on. I thought that was very catchy and held my attention, and I'm sure it will be yours too. Lace your speech with practicality, said someone. Give flesh to your character, was another. Couldn't have made your speech into a tangle, said one of our DTMs. Topics were topical. That was interesting. Now, I have whittled down the bad uses, or rather the number of misuses that I have picked, so let's not really very big. I almost realized that, said someone. How do you almost realize? Either you realize something or you don't. You can't almost realize. President for our club. Now, someone is not president for our club, she's president of our club. Let me share you a story. Let me share, I can't share you, but I can share with you a story. None other than, this was used several times and I thought it's cliche. So I think as Toastmasters we need to sort of give a wide berth to none other than. I'm sure we are innovative enough to think of something else. Something was resonated, something what resonated me, something that resonated with me. Made her the volition person, said someone. How can you, volition basically is a noun. And many times you can use a noun as an adjective. Now here, a volition person, I think somehow that doesn't gel well. So instead, made her a person of her own volition, a person of volition, someone who is capable of doing something on her own and not forced into doing it. So I think you can read that. Revoke these thoughts. How do you revoke the thoughts? So, can anyone tell me how you revoke the thoughts? Maybe you reword your thoughts, you reframe your thoughts, but you don't revoke your thoughts. Pronunciation error. 2 weeks ago, there were. I think this has been brought to your notice several times. There were. So, if I were to ask you this question, where were you? Is that right or that should have been where were you? So WERE is not where, WERE is were. So there were and not there were. Okay. He contested earlier 2 times. You have said earlier, he had contested earlier, so that should tell you that it's more than once. Otherwise, he could have said he contested twice. So 2 times could be or can be replaced by twice. Candidate 1 was the elder candidate. Now, when you want to show a difference in age or someone who's older, all you have to say is candidate 1 who was older. Okay, multi-folded said something, that should have been multi-fold. This tour director was calm as if nothing has happened. Now, concord. When you use the present tense in the first part of the sentence, this tour, or rather past tense, this tour director was calm. Was, so it was in the past. As if nothing has happened. You should have said, as if nothing had happened. Was calm, had happened. Keep to the same tense. Was not doing any reaction. You don't do reactions, was not reacting. Getting panic will not take you anywhere. Now, how do you get panic? Getting panicky, fine. Or panicking will not take you anywhere. Applicable, said somebody. It's not applicable, but applicable. In the back burner should have been on the back burner,
I'm not in a position where I would lead people. Yes, I'm not in a position. I am not where I will be. And the last one, an analogy said someone that should have been a knowledge. So that is.
Thank you, Jaishree, for the grammar lesson. And that's why we call her the Menon of the club. And before I sign off, if you want to really create your destiny, there's one more thing that you keep in mind. Not just be open-minded, but also accept and take action immediately on whatever is given. And that's another secret of Virat Kohli's success. I thank the committee for giving me this opportunity, and it's back to our Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Sumitra, Manmohan, for that wonderful evaluation. Please give her a round of applause. The password for today's meeting is 1618. 1618. I thank the committee for giving me the opportunity to be the Toastmaster of today. And thank you so much. And it's over to the President, Madam Priyanka Rannorey.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Hannah, for tying the entire meeting so wonderfully with your insightful thoughts. Let's give our Toastmaster of the day a huge round of applause. I would like to thank our general evaluator for giving us the critical feedback. And as she did mention, the biggest success of Virat Kohli is his open mindedness, and we all, I'm sure, have taken feedback with open mind. Let's give our general evaluator and thank her for such wonderful feedback. I want to thank every one of you for taking your time, coming here, and I hope you all had a very enriching meeting and some takeaways before you leave this room. And for that, let us give ourselves a huge round of applause. I just want to let you all know that tomorrow we have a division contest. The registrations for in-person is closed, but I will share you all the links tomorrow. I would encourage you all to please, especially the members, please join us and watch it online and support our members. We have two members who are representing the division at the division level. One is Distinguished Toastmaster Lalit Danush, and for table topic and evaluation contest, and Toastmaster Varsha for the international speech contest. I look forward to seeing you all supporting her and him. And I would also like to let you all know that from 28th April, our speech craft program will be commencing, and we will reach out to all of you if you need any support or for anything else. I have no announcements today, but now it's time to go for the award section. The Best Role Taker Award for today's meeting goes to someone who made us all think so much with all the bizarre manifestos. None other than our table topic master, Toastmaster Karunakar. The Best Auxiliary Role Taker Award goes to someone who is considered the grammarian queen, none other than our grammarian Toastmaster Jaishree. The best table topic speaker for today's meeting is someone who almost convinced us the importance of having a cow at home. So none other than Best Evaluator Award goes to someone who is doing new of our club, distinguished Toastmaster Rajdeep Manwani. The Best Speaker Award for today's meeting goes to someone who emphasized on self-leadership, none other than Toastmaster Naina. I would request all the winners to please join me on stage with their certificates. Thank you. Let's give our winners a huge round of applause. To all the guests, if you need any detailed information, please reach out to our Vice President membership as soon as the meeting gets adjourned outside. And with this, I adjourn today's meeting number 1426.